Alright, ready for a countdown. Although actually, the timing for this starts on gaining control, so I guess I can say, like after I started, I can say when to start. Alright. Alright, say when I'm good to go. Alright.
Okay, rolling.
Oh, it's been peaceful.
Alright, time about to start. Time starts now.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro.
Alright, so
Free
this
10 dragons
is
in the artisan
Spyro
world.
1/120%.
Then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
In
What
that
about
I will
masking work? I'm going after him.
go through
Find dragons first. That's
6
all I can tell
worlds,
you.
collecting 14,000 gems and rescuing 80 dragons and gathering 12 eggs from egg thieves. And so there was our first dragon there. It's the only one who's, well, when you rescue them, they have a cutscene where they talk to you about something, and that's the only one that can't be skipped. Oh, wow. I'm gonna give, alright. So every one of, well, the first 5 of the 6 worlds, one of the levels is a flight level, so there are 32 targets, 4 sets of 8, and a time limit to hit all of them, and you get gems for doing that. So for 120%, that's what we have to do in these. This one you don't see in any percent because the time to gem ratio is less than in the other ones, but after this will be some more standard platforming levels. So I'm making sure Spyro is a little bit low when I collect that last one, so that there's an animation where Spyro flies away into the sky, but if Spyro runs into something along the way, that ends that sequence early and saves some time. Alright, so this is the first one of like the more standard level that we're doing. So there are... That's whether that enemy will growl before turning around is RNG. I would have had to... So a lot of enemies have metal armor, and those parts of them can't be flamed, and larger ones like that, like the ones in the hallway, can't be charged. So that's what. So the game makes you vary what you attack and use sometimes. So when you glide against a something that's very nearly but not quite vertical, it can cause you to fall slower than you otherwise would, and at the proper angle potentially even gain some height. That's wall gliding. There were two there that I didn't quite get. Now, normally, when I finish collecting everything in each level, I'll pause and exit level because that's faster than going through this vortex, but the route of this level ends up right near it, and to unlock Toasty, the boss level of this world, I need to have gone through the exit vortex in at least one of the levels. Or it's possible also to do a wall glide from the area where the portal to Town Square is and enter the portal from behind, but I don't currently do that. So another one of the levels in each world is a boss level. It contains there's a boss in it, but you don't actually have to, unless you need the gems you get from defeating the boss for whatever reason, you don't actually have to do it. So normally you have to hit you have to flame the dogs twice, but the one that was out on that halfway around the edge there, I was able to, by taking the angle I did around it, make it jump off the edge, and the gem automatically went to me. So I've taken enough hits in this level to make sparks go away, and that causes me to have to touch every gem. in this level, it's pretty much two clearings around well, within a figure 8 shaped elevated space, and I can get up onto the top of it by abusing a property of the tumbling animation that happens when Spyro lands on certain surfaces, like that fountain there, where if you hold jump, Spyro bounces off of it before actually entering the tumbling animation, and you can get up to whatever is a jump above it. And here's our first egg thief. There are 12 of those in the game. So now we drop into the other lowered part and clear the gems out of that. There's also this area down here that it's easy to not to notice when you're coming out to this area with the return home portal from inside that room. But it has some gems and the key to the black chest that's at the bottom of this well. By charging over the spot where there are gems spawning from a broken chest, I cause them to automatically home in on Spyro. Didn't quite get the one cycle there. So that area of grass I went onto is a little bit higher than what's on the other side of that pillar, so I could make a jump directly onto the second pillar from that. Here's Town Square, and there's that dragon, there's the one that's on the platform that's above it, and right behind that is the one that's right next to the exit portal. In any percent, a jump is actually made from that first one up to that high platform, and you get all three of those dragons right in a row. But in 120, we have gems to collect, so that won't work. Very close pair of dragons there. So 16 dragons is the... that's all the dragons in Artisans in the first world. And the remaining gems of the homeworld are right on our way to the balloonists who will take us to the next one. And so that completes Artisans, and we're on to Peacekeepers. We actually only needed 10 rescued dragons to continue, but, well, the category sort of requires us to get everything else, but that's all we would need. Otherwise. So these fan chests, they take 3 flames to open, and a piece of debris comes off of them that, if it strikes an enemy, can damage it. So the piece of debris from that one actually killed an enemy up on that high ledge up there that will drop a purple gem that's worth 25. So it'll be waiting for us without us having to actually beat the enemy holding it. That glide is one that, there's the 25 gem from the enemy that we pre-killed with the fan chest. But the dragon there, there was a piece of fan chest debris landing on that chest. What I was saying was the dragon I most recently rescued is, well, one that many casual players all infamously had a lot of trouble finding the proper way to get to. Yeah, since we have a couple of, well, since taking the hit from that would still leave us with a sparks, I just charged right into that fireworks just to explode it and get the gems out of it more quickly. Those purple containers contain extra lives. Those are not necessary for 100%, well, 120%, but I broke that one open because it was in the way. That was a rather long range to get a flame charge from. So, normally when you flame an enemy, the gem drops, but if you charge it, the gem homes in on you. If you're charging near an enemy in appropriate range, it's killed by a flame. It can cause the gem to home in on you anyway, and that's called flame charging. As it combines the good parts of flaming and charging. I was trying to, with the help of the appropriately sloped wall that was there, jump around it to 33 gems that are around the back edge of that entrance area. But I did not make it, so I will instead get those at the end. This is a slightly troublesome jump. Normally you're not supposed to be able to make that. But by charging at the end of a glide, you actually gain a little extra boost, and that's enough to make that. Also, each of these pots has a gem in it that has to be released by flaming the pot. If there's a missing gem in this level, that's a likely place for it. So now we'll go clear out the other side of this level, where we take advantage of these birds' hitboxes extending a little bit lower than they may appear. Although you hope that the gems will still home in on you. Oh, hey. Yeah, something that can happen when your path through is this area doesn't go quite as planned. It's the birds and the 2 gems that are on the ground are so spread out that if anything out of the ordinary happens, it's way too easy to miss one. And here's the area I was trying to jump around behind the beginning of the level. So the types of chests I'm firing at, they need a little more than an ordinary attack to open them, and there are various sources of that. Also, the cannon will... Oh, I fired that a little too early. The cannon will automatically fire softer or harder depending on what you have it roughly aimed at. The spring chest that's way back of that wall is what that cannon will target if you're a little bit to the right of the chest. You may notice I'm leaving some gems behind here. I will be back through to get those from the edge when I went onto the higher platforms, and to get those running enemies that I let go past in order to do that. If you just charge off of that, you land too far forward for sparks to grab the backmost of those red gems. So you gotta watch for that and make sure that you actually do get that one. And here is the lost Dr. Shell. Pretty much playing back, and the different phases make that possible in different ways. And now we clean up what we left behind along the beginning of the level. So here is Night Flight, the flight level of Peacekeepers. So I gotta fly through the rings, plane the lights, fly through the arches, and plane the chests. So after we get back into this spark area, there are many different ways to go about this last part. And this is the one that I because ending on a light because it's something that's right in front of you makes the animation skip take no special effort for that one. Something about rescuing each dragon. The cutscene doesn't become skippable until Spyro has walked to the spot where he'll be at the end of the cutscene, which is a fixed spot for each dragon. So you want to touch the platform to rescue the dragon at the angle closest to where that spot is to reduce the amount of walking it has. So, and therefore the amount of time it takes before the cutscene becomes skippable. Hitting that dragon platform at the proper angle will cause Sparks to grab all three of those red gems as the rescuing sequence starts. It's nice when that can happen. There are a few gems on this level that are on top of lampposts like that and have to be knocked down by carefully charging into them. That death was intentional to warp back here. Oh. Because I now have the key to the locked chest that's up there. I did not know that it was possible to charge right onto onto the edge of that without having to also jump. This level is actually one of only two that has 5 dragons to be rescued. Holding and carefully aiming charge and jump along there to hop along all of those platforms is known as magic stairs. That's a very tricky arrangement of things there. So for these pairs of lamppost gems. Well, the gem still comes down if you just sideswipe it, but don't actually bonk into it with your charge. So I was trying to do that to the first, at least the first one in each of those pairs there. Normally I get the chest that's in the center of that room first, and so I end on the spring chest. Which works out nicely because you actually have to touch that one, so it's not a case of waiting for the gem to come to you after it starts homing in. And so that's the second world completed out of 6. The any percent requirement for moving on to this world is 1200 gems. We have a lot more than that. Many times that. So here's a spot where those pieces of debris from fan chests come into play, where you can snipe the green wizards that are raising the ground and otherwise impeding gathering the gems. Alright, I am going to have to remember to get that chest when I come out of this level. Not a problem. Well, not a run-killing one, that is. I have never had something like that with one of those large enemies happen, where it nudges you like that without doing damage. If I was going to game over somewhere better early in the world where I don't have to recover a large amount of the home world. Oh! Oh wow. Normally it's... So that... The little thing that happens between that green wizard and that blue wizard is on a cycle. Arriving at that part of the cycle is something that pretty much doesn't happen unless there was death like that. even if that had fully raised, the boost from charging at the end of a glide would still get me onto it, as long as I was making the glide off of a good jump. So by gliding to the right of that platform, I'm able to get close enough to the green wizard to scare it and cause the platform to lower, which happens quickly enough to then land on it. So that's a way to deal with not having the proper cycle there. A properly aimed flame there can kill the enemy and light the fireworks chest, but it's a little tight. Also, certain parts of that mountain are not solid. So, for charging into that last one, you gotta be really careful about your angle, or it can launch you right off the edge. Onward to the next level we go, where we will be introduced to the mechanic of supercharging. So I took that supercharge into a place where you're not expected to take it, and broke the lock chest without the key. And now we are on to our next level, High Caves, where there will be a lot more supercharging. There's gems. Oh, these two I just picked up, and that blue one a little bit earlier are placed just so if you charge off the little slightly higher platform, you don't quite get within range for sparks to grab them. And while you're supercharging, you can go through fireworks just without being hurt. And they'll instantaneously explode. So I did that with 2 of the 3 fireworks chests that are in that room. There's charging at the end of a glide to make something that we don't believe was intended. So I was trying to hit that a little bit to the left and get launched up here. So instead of supercharging those large metal enemies, I need to use this super flame on them. But ideally, I could get the supercharge all the way up here and get all the gems in there, and then coming out here with it and along this area. And this is intentional to warp back to that dragon to perform another supercharge. This time to get the this time to clean out these caves. And to get these enemies too. Well, that's the wrong part of that cycle. Normally, you would supercharge to each of these separately, but they're close enough to glide between. So there's an egg thief that runs around the lip of a pool that's over there, so I broke that fan chest open in that direction so that the piece of debris from it kills the egg thief, and I get the egg. So those green lightning lizards, they're surprisingly difficult to hit. It can get rather annoying with things that you thought hit them, not hitting them. Alright, I'm gonna try to do another wall glide here. Alright, I got it. So by appropriately angling myself against the steep inclined wall there, I was able to add enough extra height to my glide to make it. And now some supercharging. I got it. Yep, made this with only one supercharge ramp. Normally requires two. But that was by abusing the way that supercharge ramps interact with height chains over them. Except that I am 5 gems short. So likely one of the blue wizards here, yeah, the gem did not go to me. That can happen. This is the last egg piece in the entire game. I now have all 12 eggs. So on that final light purple Nork, I actually got a flame charge. I was trying to do that to most of the other ones of those, but it's the timing for doing it is tricky. So I'm going to be going around the back of the portal to Crystal Flight, this world's flight level, and I don't think I got the skip there. So before the homeworld, when you enter a portal, Spyro continues moving through it in the portal entering animation. And that doesn't end until the camera reaches the portal. So by keeping my camera off to the side and entering that from behind, I could make it take long enough that Spyro reaches the dragon that's on the other side of the portal. And that counts as rescuing it, but no cutscene happens, so it saves some time. I don't believe I got that this time, though. If you really delay the unloading of the level a lot, you can even start to hear the sound effect for rescuing the dragon. And that is what happens when you don't get animation skip. I did not get dragon skip. Oh well. So there's only one level of Magic Crafters left, and that would be its boss level, Blowhard. So what I said about those green lightning wizards and being weird with what counts as actually hitting them really comes into play in the beginning part of this level. those larger, slightly larger green wizards that were moving the platforms in there. When you defeat them, the gem automatically comes in on you. Nice little bonus. And with that, we are finished Magic Crafters. The minimum for requirement for moving on to Beastmakers is 5 eggs. In the game are in the first 3 worlds, so I have all of them. Electricity is a common theme in the levels of this world. You'll see that a lot in this level. That was odd that I was close enough to that second one for it to start shooting at me when I couldn't see it. Here's another wall glide that normally I have a very easy time making. So, at least starting in this world, when that happens, you respawn right in front of the portal to the problematic world, rather than at the beginning of the home world. Saves means you don't lose as much time. I'm only gonna try this once more. There we go. I'll be back through there to get that gem that dropped. Also, oddity of the game, this, even when it looks electrified, is safe. That little triangle of that swamp zone. Oh, I need that gem. Went a little too early there. Looks like there's a gem there I gotta go get. Ah. So that green gem actually was in a chest, but the fan chest debris opened it. Oh no. So, one of the... A great annoyance in Spyro games is if you think you finished a level but missed a gem, and then you gotta go look for it. It happens to everyone. So in the iframes I get from charging into that first fireworks chest, I can charge into the next one, which explodes the third one without taking another hit. So that gets them all open nice and fast at a cost of only 1 sparks. And so here is Peacemaker's flight level, Wild Flight. One of the ones I enjoy the most. Nice lineups. Faster pace than some of the other ones. This is actually, so each flight level requires you to do something special for varying degrees of special in the homeworld. This is the last one that I found casually. Because you wouldn't think to look in those wells for one that doesn't have a bottom. Well, for one that's not filled up with ooze, that is. So this level is an infamous one. Those tree-like things and the attack rods are highly annoying. especially the ones that eat you. Because when that happens, the animation for that is very long. It's a very slow thing by those. So hopefully that will not happen here. Sometimes they can start running at you earlier than you would expect them to. Sometimes, like right there, the RNG can be really nice to you, and all of the frogs can neatly line themselves up in front of the charging boar there. Yeah, that was a nice little save there, which I then... I was a little too low for that first one. Managed to get onto the part of the side of the stump that gives you the tumbling animation to bounce off of it, and then proceeded to fall off of the next one. I'm surprised that I did not get damaged by that. Due to the difficulty and the annoyance of the area I just cleared out, it's become known as Guantanamo. And so we enter another infamous level. This one for all of the supercharging puzzles in it. Sometimes, if you stop supercharging in a poor spot, you're lined right up for a hit from those enemies. Alright, now we're going to abuse the interaction of height changes with supercharging again to get over here on just that one ramp. That one's intended to require something much more involved to get over to it. That involves briefly going the wrong way on a supercharge ramp. So by flaming and then diving there, as the flame hitbox was expanding, I caused it to angle downward and hit the red thief there before I got close enough to it to start its sequence of going through and waking up the other enemies around there. During which the red thief is invincible. So going for another. Alright. I was, thanks to the extra speed from starting at the above the top of that ramp there, I was able to take to supercharge up the steeply angled part of the area around the return home vortex there and get right up to the top. That is called Stone Knot Skip. And now we get to Beastmaker's boss level, Metalhead. This area down here with some gems and the key to the lock chest that is that you encounter where phase 2 of the boss fight happens. And with a slight wall glide I can make it across there without falling in. So we can go on into the boss fight. Defeating Metalhead is a case of destroying each of the power poles in the room that each phase is fought in, and there are 2 phases. there's a queue of enemies here that Metalhead occasionally will throw at you, but defeating the phase of Metalhead in question automatically kills all of those too and leaves their gems behind. Yeah, there was a throwing enemy there. Metalhead destroyed one of his own poles with that attack. Sometimes that happens. The glide across to here is very tricky to make without charging at the end. To the point that in the PAL version of the game, they move the gems that are over there. I'm missing a gem. They move the gems that are over there to the other part of the upper inside of that room. So what happened with that missed gem there is due to slightly messing up the initial phase of the Metalhead fight. He had thrown an enemy and it was midway across the room when the last power pole got destroyed. So, like the waiting enemies, it instantaneously was killed and dropped its gem right where it was, which was in the middle of the room. So normally I would be going around this area the other way. And then doing a specially angled jump and then charge to get up to where the Metalhead portal is, which you're not supposed to do. But due to where I died, it was better to go the intended direction around that when I got back to it. And with that, we are finished world number 4, and we are on to world number 5, Dreamweavers. The minimum requirement here to enter here is 50 dragons. That is one of the 2 major walls of any percent. Along with exiting this world, which is 6,000 gems. Which is well over half of what's available by this time. What was I doing here? I will be back through this part of the level, so I can defeat that enemy later. So this Super Flame Berry is intended to be used to defeat this enemy right here. if I'm quick enough with it, I can get to the metal barrier that I'm intended to break using the super flame from the second fairy, and therefore skip having to go to it. But that did not happen. However, due to that very unfortunate death, we might actually see that work. Okay, now we won't because that bomb means I definitely will not be able to get there fast enough. So this is the one that we would have skipped by doing that. Those metal enemies are flame chargeable with a oh. Sometimes it's possible to have the flame go through the door frame and open the door even with you not fully getting to it. Also, I have to make sure I take a wide angle around there where the camera can get stuck between the door frame and the wall outside, and that crashes the game. Scattered throughout this level are some of those armored chests that have a large number of gems in them. So you really want to charge over the spawn point and stop on top of it, and they will all go directly to it. Also, that one fairy that I went to gives a super flame that lasts until you either die or exit the level. Alright, should be everything in that level, and it is. So now we death warp back to the... Oh, I had no lives. Well, I'm gonna respawn right where that would have landed me anyway. So there's an enemy in the beginning, not the beginning, the middle of the homeworld, who periodically fires a beam at elsewhere, at other enemies, and makes them larger or smaller. The ones with the metal armor cannot be defeated by anything that you are able to do in the homeworld, unless they're made small first. This comes into mainly comes into play in one particular spot, which is the way to this world's flight level. And here in this level we have the mechanic of light making enemies smaller and darkness making them larger. Large dogs are quite unforgiving. So are the turtles. Fireball shooting turtles will get you if you do pretty much anything other than go straight for them. And now we go inside this second level. Yep, there's those turtles being those turtles. I did not think I would make that. That shows the power of charging at the end of your glide. now back to the main island we go. So that rocket opens up the armored chest that's a little bit over this way, but this dragon in between opens up a window of time between hitting it and grabbing the first gem that spawned from the chest, where if you die, you'll end up at the dragon, but the chest will still be there, and you would have to go through that entire side path again. You might expect the beams to be a cycle, but there's also an element of proximity to the target enemies. So that row of 3 will always become larger as you're about to get as you start going towards it. So you have to wait. So here's that cannon that's been changing enemy sizes. So we're gonna use it to shrink these two. And now we can go to this world's flight level, Icy Flight. And there that goes. And then we get to one of the best pieces of music in the game. Castle. This level has a few groups of fairies that are in cages, and create a whirlwind when you rescue all three of them. But we don't need this one, thanks to charging at the end of glides. I glided a little bit too early from the top there. So I went past the first one without killing it. So there was adjusting movement off of the supercharger ramp to not have to go all the way around that circular platform that was in front of it. We are now coming up to the only fan chest in the game to contain a mirror red gem. Lofty Castle is home to both that and the only spring chest containing a red gem. It's almost as though it creates a feeling that this level was originally intended to have more than 400 gems, and then they had to remove some to make the total come out to what they wanted it to. Where does that put me? That puts me over here. Alright. As we were saying. So we waited until last for this area because it contains the lock chest which we needed the key for. And there's your red spring chest. And those are the main levels of Dreamweavers. there is still the boss level, Jacques. Also, I am missing a gem in the homeworld. I'm going to have to locate it. At least I hope it's in the homeworld and not forgetting something in one of the levels. But I should have one more gem than that. So defeating, hitting those two quickly enough can allow you to get into the alcove and back onto it and over here without having to beat them again. That is known as cake skip. And with these charge-only enemies here, it can be it can be tricky to quickly line yourself up to get straight from one to the next, if you, especially if the camera's off to the side. And here we get the largest number of gems that any boss in this game gives. So this one actually lowers the platform that's over here, which I might not get to now that I had to go back and touch that red gem. Nope. You gotta get the turns just right to hit all four of the pillar enemies there on one go through the whirlwind. Alright, now we gotta track that mist gem down. Yep, it is indeed in the homeworld. Oh, great. Alright, maybe it was over here. Something tells me it might be. It's not one of those. Not. Oh, there it is. And now we are on to the final world, Nasty's world. Normal entrance requirement is 6,000 gems. That is the other major wall in any percent. The way that this world works is each is reaching the end of this one by exiting the exit vortex opens up the dragon mouth containing the portal to the next level, and then finishing that one opens up the portal, the dragon mouth containing the portal to Nasty Works level himself. The remaining dragon mouth contains Nasty's loot, which only opens when you have 100% and contains the other 20%. Jumping towards that and then charging at the end can get you onto it, which is not meant for an intended jump. Alright, what I tried to do there was explode the barrel at a particular spot, at a particular moment of the animation of bringing it down, when it would be properly positioned such that it would blow up the armored chest that's there. That's called barrel skill. It avoids having to do this, and then go get the gems and go back up. So there are three things that need to be hit with this barrel, and properly aiming it, you can hit all three of them. That would be those two enemies and the armored chest that's there. black chest often gets blown up by the barrels, but it won't necessarily happen, so I am seeing gems. Oh, there they are. So that's why generally you will see owners get the key when they go down the blue passage. So now that we've completed that one, we open up the dragon mouth containing the next portal, Twilight Harbor. That was those large gun enemies can be flame charged, and I got a flame charge on that one. The yellow ones can also be flame charged. So I'm actually going to be death warping back to that dragon twice. I supercharge once through the top with the bridge raised, and once with it lowered, in order to get, well, A, get to the top, and to these, and for the latter it's to get that armored chest that's in the distance there. Now we can move on. So we got everything that requires us to get that supercharge, which was the last supercharge in the game. Those grenades can do from surprisingly far. And I got a lot of floating Doritos to make my way through. And that's Twilight Harbor. So that means that next up is Nasty Mark himself. I'm gonna get some fodder before I do that. So first there's this one key from this key thief that will open up the passage containing a second key thief, which you can trick into running the wrong way by staying to the right there. And that will lower the platform that Nasty Nork is on, thereby allowing you to continue. I think I may have not gotten one of those red codes. Alright, I definitely missed the one cycle here. Very much so. But I did miss that red gem after all. So the one cycle was over the moment that happened. Because I would have had to come all the way around after grabbing it. Through a careful setup around here, you can get out of bounds there and
Sorry I took so long.
flame him from underneath
forgot
and
about ya.
What about
skip these
the
credits,
nasty
but
Gnor?
Nasty Nork?
it's
His toast.
very,
So now there's order again in
very
the Dragon
tough to do.
Kingdom?
Well, mostly.
and
I still got
you
some
know,
treasure to pick
doing
up.
that yet.
What will you do next?
So
I'd say
that
the
means
sky's the limit.
that before Nasty's loot, I have to sit through these couple minutes of unskippable credits. No, time is still going. There is one level after this. Yes. Yes, I did. Well, there's still a couple more minutes of this run. So doing that will cause that dragon to appear there, and combined with these gems, that should give us 100%. I failed to get an egg. One of the High Cave's eggs. Must have been either the second one or how are we doing on the estimate of this run? Oh. Well, I would have to go get the mist egg to continue this. So, if we want to, if we want to just move on, that's fine. You're welcome. Marathon luck. Yellow it is, you said?